Good afternoon. I'm Mike Headley. I'm the Executive Director with the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority. Welcome to the 4850 level at the Sanford Underground Research Facility in Leeds, South Dakota, the deepest underground science facility in the United States. We're here today, nearly a mile underground, to celebrate the groundbreaking for the Long Baseline Neutrino Facility, or LBNF. Today marks the start of LBNF construction activities in South Dakota. In constructing LBNF, we will excavate 875,000 tons of rock in the rock mass right behind me to create large detector caverns to house the International Deep Underground Neutrino Experiment, or DUNE. Through LBNF DUNE, Fermilab will direct a beam of neutrinos 800 miles from Chicago to detectors located right here. Filled with 70,000 tons of liquid argon, they will be the largest neutrino detectors in the world. Of course, none of this would be possible without the strong partnership that we share with Fermilab and the U.S. Department of Energy. We're thankful for the White House and that the White House and DOE are here with us today as evidence of that partnership. Through DUNE, scientists will study properties in neutrinos that will help us understand some of the most compelling science questions in physics, including why there's more matter than antimatter in the universe. In other words, why we're all here. The International DUNE collaboration already includes 1,000 scientists from 164 institutions in 30 countries and is evidenced by the 3 international partners that we have here with us today for the ceremony. Together, we will build the largest science megaproject ever attempted on U.S. soil. At this time, I'd like to briefly introduce our speakers. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today and taking time out of your schedules to share your thoughts with us. I'd ask the audience to please hold your applause until after I've introduced everyone. Starting next to me, first our host today, the Governor of South Dakota, Dennis Daugaard. Representing the Executive Office of the President of the United States, Deputy Assistant to the President and Deputy U.S. Chief Technology Officer, Michael Kratsios. Representing the Department of Energy, Associate Director of Science for High Energy Physics, Jim Segrist. The members of the South Dakota Congressional Delegation, Senator John Thune, Senator Mike Rounds, and Representative Kristi Noem. Representing the 14th District in Illinois, Representative Randy Hultgren. Representing our international partners from CERN, the Director of International Relations, Charlotte Walkery. Representing the Italian National Institute for Nuclear Physics, Sergio Bertolucci. Representing the UK Science and Technology Facilities Council, the Executive Director of Programs, Graham Blair. And representing Fermilab, the lead DOE laboratory for LBNF DUNE, Director Nigel Lockyer. Please join me in welcoming and thanking our speakers. I'd like to take a moment and thank just a few others who have played key roles in helping us reach this milestone today. First, for his vision, determination, and incredible generosity in helping make this facility a reality, I'd like to sincerely thank Mr. T. Denny Sanford. Denny was not able to join us today due to another commitment, but he asked that I specifically pass along his congratulations to the team in reaching this milestone and how proud he is of the work that everyone has done. So please join me in recognizing Denny Sanford. Also, I'd like to recognize Barrick Gold Corporation for their strong partnership in donating the former Homestake Gold Mine that has now become the Sanford Underground Research Facility. Recently, in support of LBNF, Barrick has graciously agreed to let us place the 875,000 tons of rock for the LBNF into the open cut on the surface. Here with us underground today, representing Barrick Gold, is their Director of Government Affairs, Christina Erling. Thank you, Christina, for your partnership. Please help me recognize Barrick Gold. And finally, I'd like to recognize our staff for the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority and Fermilab, who have worked over the past few weeks to prepare for this event. I can tell you personally, I've seen the work and I've really been impressed with everything our team has done collectively, both here in Chicago and we really, truly appreciate it. This is just a great fitting way to kick off this construction activity. So please join me in thanking the staff. Okay, now it's time for our speakers. Throughout the development of this facility in preparation for LBNF construction, we've been blessed with incredible support by the South Dakota Governor's Office. Governor Daugaard, Lieutenant Governor Matt Michaels, and their team have been there with us every step of the way, helping us advance world-leading science research and education right here in South Dakota. We truly appreciate their support. So at this time, it's my honor to invite the Governor of South Dakota and our host today, Governor Dennis Daugaard, to the podium for his remarks.
Thank you, Mike. My friend Tony said I should keep the speech in my hat like Abraham Lincoln did, the Gettysburg Address. The good news is, it's not the Gettysburg Address, but it is short. I have to admit, as Governor of South Dakota, it's a great privilege to have the Sanford Underground Research Facility here. Thanks again to Barrick for contributing it to the Science and Technology Authority. Thank you all for being here. I have to confess, when I saw the lineup of gravel and the shovels, I realized there would be no explosives in my hand. I was a little upset about that, but I think it'll work out. Welcome, all of you, to South Dakota, those of you who are from elsewhere, and to the Sanford Underground Research Facility. Thanks to the strong support and commitment from our state legislature, our United States congressional delegation, and supporters like T. Denny Sanford, South Dakota has invested $145 million and is indeed very much a proud partner with the Department of Energy through the Sanford Lab. I want to say a special thank you to Mike Rounds, a former governor of South Dakota, now U.S. Senator. It was his idea that created the authority, found the insurance solution that made it possible for the lab to be created and for Barrick to make this donation. It was he who solicited the gift from Denny Sanford, which proved so critical. And he's been a great supporter of this and a friend of mine. And Mike, you deserve a lot of credit today. With the Department of Energy's most recent commitment of funds, I'm also excited to see the Long Baseline Neutrino Facility begin construction. It's been a journey well worth the wait, and I look forward to working closely with the Department of Energy to ensure its long-term success. As the host of the Far Sight detectors, South Dakota is committed to this world-leading long baseline neutrino facility, and we're pleased to welcome our partners from around the globe. And we're so grateful for their support. This project, along with other exciting physics experiments occurring here at the Sanford Lab, can transform the young minds of the next generation, both here in South Dakota and around the globe, to help us win the future and inspire the next crop of world-class physicists. South Dakota, I'm happy to report, is now attracting top physicists and budding physicists from around the world, and is also seeing a transformative impact on our K-12 schools right here in our state, with already more than 15,000 students participating in programs through the Sanford Lab involving more than 2,700 teachers. LBNF DUNE will also have a profound impact on South Dakota's economy, with thousands of new jobs projected and hundreds of millions of dollars in estimated economic impact. We're very proud to host the Far Sight for this world-leading facility, and we're honored to play a role in mankind's march toward a greater understanding of our universe. I look forward to seeing you all here as we announce future great discoveries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Governor. And now we'll hear from Mr. Michael Kratsios.
It's a great pleasure to be here. It's wonderful to see all of you. Especially great to see you, Senator Thune. I know you've been a huge champion of science and technology in the Senate for many, many years. And as you probably all know, he was a big part of passing the American Innovation and Competitiveness Act earlier this year, and for that I thank you. But today's groundbreaking marks a very, very historic event and moment for American leadership in science and technology. This is where it all began, back to the 1960s, and we're proud to be able to continue Ray Davis's legacy of game-changing particle physics work right here in South Dakota. This project serves as a model for what the future of mega science research looks like. It's an intensely collaborative effort. And I think what makes this particular initiative so incredible is that you're seeing local, state, and federal governments coming together with international partners and working in lockstep with enterprising corporate and philanthropic pioneers. The White House celebrates today with everyone working to bring this once-in-a-generation endeavor to life. Firstly, with the men and women constructing these incredible facilities. This is my first time being a mile down from the ground, and it's truly unbelievable what I'm seeing around me. Secondly, with all those coordinating this massive intergovernmental effort. It's not easy to get all these agencies to come together and work together and be on the same page. I've only been in Washington for 6 months, but I've learned quite quickly that something of this scale and this level of coordination is actually something to be extraordinarily proud of. Also, I'd like to thank your leadership, Governor Daugaard, as well as all those from South Dakota and Illinois who have made this possible. And the entire team at Energy and at Fermilab who have put so much heart and soul into this particular project. And of course, and I think more importantly from where I sit, I think we should all celebrate the scientists and engineers who will operate this facility and through their experiments discover previously hidden truths about the nature of our universe. I'm so proud and so excited for the future of particle physics research here in America, and this is a fantastic place for it to be. I'd like to have Jim come up here, and I guess he's next on the list. Thank you.
So it's a pleasure to speak on behalf of the Department of Energy today. We have a lot of people to thank for even being able to be here at all. Just a few years ago, where we're standing right now was actually underwater. So the people of the state of South Dakota elect the right set of governors and representatives to actually keep this, to work with Barrick to get this site opened up. And we have to thank them for that, both current and former governors and representatives, because there's been a consistent push from the state to help, realize this opportunity and make this underground lab happen. So DOE appreciates that and the other support that we get from Congress and in particular from our international partners as we pursue, global science. So I'd also like to take the chance to thank the South Dakota and Fermilab staffs that have worked on this so hard. So let me turn it over to Senator Thune.
Well, thank you. It's also an honor to be here today. And I remember back in 1979, I was a senior in high school, and the basketball coach at South Dakota School of Mines and Technology was recruiting me to play basketball there, and he kept telling me, I'm offering you the largest scholarship that I've ever offered an athlete in the history of our school. And I concluded then that I would love to play basketball there. They played the kind of basketball I like to play. That was kind of a fast-paced, up-and-down game. But I didn't think I was smart enough to go to South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. And every time I come down here or talk to people about what's happening here, and the engineers and the scientists and everything the just incredibly profound research that happens here, I'm convinced I made the right decision that I wasn't smart enough to do this kind of work. But it's fascinating for me to be able to see the progress that we've made. I was down here a couple of times when this was a gold mine, down at the 5,000, 6,000 foot level, and toured what was going on here, and it was remarkable as a gold mine to see what was happening here under the town, the historic town of Lead, South Dakota. And that started way back in 1876, and then in 2000, actually it happened a little bit before that, 1998, when Homestake announced that they were starting to cut back and pare back the gold mining operation because of the gold economy and market at the time. We were all starting to get pretty discouraged because we knew what might be coming next. And sure enough, on September 11th in 2000, Homestake announced that they were shutting the mine down as we knew it. And there was a lot of despair here, a lot of hardworking employees that drew their living and their families' living from the gold mine here. But what happened after that really is an incredible story. And about a year later, we were working on legislation. At that time, Bill Janklow was the governor, Mike Rounds was the majority leader in the state senate, Dennis Daugaard was a state senator, and in Washington, D.C., we were working on legislation that would allow for the transfer of this facility, this mine, to the state of South Dakota. And it was not an easy feat. We took a bill, came over to us from the Senate, needed a lot of work, spent a lot of late night hours in the Speaker's office trying to get the legislation right, but ultimately we were able to pass the bill through the Congress that allowed this facility to be passed to the state. And then, of course, as was pointed out by Governor Daugaard, Governor Rounds came in, created the Science and Technology Authority, and the rest really is history. But I'm just excited to be able to, and so proud, I guess I would say, to be able to talk about what's happening right here in South Dakota. This literally, under the ground of this historic city and the beautiful Black Hills, is research that is going to push the boundaries of our understanding and knowledge of matter in our universe. It's a world-class facility that will have benefits that will be derived from people all over the world, as you can see is represented here today. And so the opportunity for technological and scientific advancement, I think, makes this just an incredibly unique and distinctive place, and some place that I think is going to serve not only this area and the region here, but the entire world with the benefits that will come from the research that happens here. And secondly, the international collaboration. I mean, think about it. Mike was pointing this out earlier. 1,000 scientists from 150 institutions or 160 institutions in 30 nations around the world are going to be doing research here. That's a remarkable story in and of itself. And so we're delighted to have the partners. Our European friends are here with us today. And Fermilab, Congressman Hultgren is here with us today. Glad to have you here. But the partnership between Fermi and SURF and what's going to happen with the LBNF DUNE project is also something that I think makes this an incredibly distinct project. So it's exciting to be a part of it. We want to be a partner. Congress just yesterday, that Appropriations Committee in the United States Senate passed legislation funding $82 million for this next fiscal year for LBNF DUNE. And we hope and will be working hard and expect that kind of funding to continue, particularly when we see the kind of results and the benefits, as I said earlier, they're going to come from the research that happens here. Sometimes in my newsletter, I'll try and draw attention to the work that's happening here at SURF, and I'll say something like, while you've been reading this, trillions of neutrinos have passed through your body. And unfortunately, that doesn't get as much attention for the lab here as one visit from Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, which generated millions of hits. And I'm hoping we're going to continue to see attention drawn and paid, because this is going to draw an incredible wealth of talent. And I think, just as I said, the involvement, the collaboration, and from people all over the world. It's exciting to see this. I'm delighted to be here as a part of this groundbreaking and to take a few shovels, but the 800,000 tons that are going to be done, I'll leave to the experts here and the rest of the folks. But thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today, and thank you to all who've been involved. As was pointed out earlier, Denny Sanford, of course, goes without saying the amount of money that he's poured into this. And Homestake Gold Mine, now Barrick, State of South Dakota, this really has been a partnership that I think is a model and something that we could benefit from and see a lot more of in places like Washington, D.C. these days. So thank you very much. God bless. And next up, My running mate in the United States Senate, now Senator and former governor, and one of the fathers of this, Mike Rounds.
I always got to do this when John gets done. Bring it way down. Look, first of all, I just want to say thank you. It's really an honor to be here at this groundbreaking. I suspect it won't be long, and it'll truly be kind of a rock breaking instead. And that's the way that it should be. As many of you know, we've got 2 of our national labs in the United States that are named for Ernest O. Lawrence. But many people don't know that he grew up in Canton, South Dakota. He graduated from the University of South Dakota in 1922. He created the idea of the cyclotron, the atom smasher. He did that at the University of California, Berkeley in 1929 and was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1939. His brother, John Lawrence, graduated from the University of South Dakota in 1926 and Harvard Medical School a few years later. He joined his brother at Berkeley and is known as the father of nuclear medicine. Unfortunately, both Ernest and John had to leave South Dakota to do their career-long scientific research. Then, Dr. Ray Davis came to South Dakota many times over many years to do his career-long research at the home state gold mine. Ray Davis won the 2002 Nobel Prize in Physics for his work that was accomplished right here in this mine. When Dr. Davis was first notified that he had won the Nobel Prize, the first words out of his mouth were, "I had a lot of fun doing that work." That's what it's all about, the joy of discovery. We South Dakotans care about science, education, and the future of our children and our grandchildren. We want our South Dakota students to know that they don't have to leave South Dakota to become world-class scientists. We want our South Dakota students to have the option of staying here, closer to family and friends. We also want to share this gold mine of real, pure scientific opportunity with young and old scientists from every state and from around the world. And of course, we hope that all of the scientists and students who come here are infected with Ray Davis's joy of learning and discovery. There may not be much gold in this mine anymore, but I'm certain there are more Nobel Prizes to be found here. Today is a real step forward on a journey of learning and discovery. It's also a day for celebration and thanksgiving. Thank you to the visionary scientists who dreamed of having the best and the deepest underground lab in the world right here in South Dakota. Thank you to the Barrick Gold Corporation, the Barrick Corporation, for also believing in that dream. It could have simply closed this mine, but it didn't. Their contribution of the mine was really a contribution to the future of science and perhaps the future discoveries in this world. Thank you to our own South Dakota State Legislature for taking the risk and appropriating over $39 million for underground science here. Literally, they had been asked to put $39 million into a flooded hole in the ground. And for creating the programs that have given out thousands of scholarships since 2003. Thank you also to the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority for always moving us forward. Thank you also to Congress and to the scientists and to all of the leaders of several federal agencies in believing in this dream and for their efforts to make it come true. Every time there was a pothole or a barrier in our road to success, someone or some group stepped forward to solve those problems and to prevent others. This underground research facility was truly meant to be. Now, I want to end today with the biggest thank you of all to someone who couldn't be here today. At the beginning, in addition to the state and federal funds, we needed money to continue the work here. I will not forget, because Denny Sanford had told me at one point he wanted to invest in things that made a difference for kids. And we had talked several different times about what it meant down here to actually get this going and what it would mean for young people throughout the world to have a place like this to come and to learn and to grow and to ask questions like, what color is a neutrino? Those types of things, you know, the easy ones. And as we discussed this, Denny had thought about it, and at one point he came and he visited me in Pierre. It was actually at the South Dakota Governor's Hunt, traditional hunt here. He came in and he says, I need to talk to you about something. I said, okay, and he says, come on and let's sit down and have a cup of coffee inside. So we walked into this clubhouse and sat down, and he says, remember, you know, we were talking about that laboratory out there in the hills? And I said, yeah. And he says, where are you at on it? And I said, yeah, we're short money. And he says, well, you told me one time you could do this thing for $50 million. And I said, yeah, we can. I said, as soon as the National Science Foundation or the Department of Energy or somebody steps in, we got $39 million in it already at the state level. He says, well, I think we ought to build it. And I said, man, I do too. I think we ought to build this thing. I think it's huge. I said, but I got to get the $50 million. He says, well, I think we ought to build it. I said, I know, but I need $50 million to do it. And he says, I'm telling you, I will give you $50 million. It was a good thing that I was sitting down. And the next thing I thought about was the guy who was my lieutenant governor, Denny Daugaard. I thought, what would Denny Daugaard, who's a great fundraiser, and my thought that went through my head was, what would Denny Daugaard say right here? I said, you know, Denny, I really appreciate it. That's fantastic. We can make this work. That's the meat and potatoes on this project. But you know, if you're going to do that, for another $20 million, we can do one heck of an outreach on this thing. And without batting an eye, he says, what do you mean? And I said, we got to give this message out. We got to send the message. We got to share it with the rest of the world. Let's not only make it, let's share what it is. Let's get people excited about it. He says, $20 million? And I said, yeah. He says, you bring me a business plan and I'll fund that too. So here is a man who has put $70 million also into a hole in the ground because he believed in the future and what it meant to the next generation. Whenever we needed help for this tremendous project, Denny Sanford was there for us. I want to send a very, very special thank you to Denny. Now, for this current fiscal year, Congress, as John Thune has indicated, has appropriated the necessary funds for the construction of the Long Baseline Neutrino Facility Experiment and the Deep Underground Neutrino Experiment, or DUNE. Senator Thune, Representative Noem, Representative Hultgren, and Senator Dick Durbin, who is the ranking Democratic leader in the Senate, and I have all worked together for several years now to make this project viable at the federal level. I want to thank my colleagues for their belief in this project as well. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our South Dakota representative, Kristi Noem. Thank you.
I was sitting here listening to Senator Rounds speak, and I thought of a scripture verse that says, without a vision, the people perish. And it made me think about the fact that if there hadn't been a vision years ago, what would have happened to this gold mine? What would have happened to this town? What would have happened to the scientific research that can be done here that can be done nowhere else in this country, maybe in the world? And I'm very grateful for the vision that many people had before I did. I'm the new kid on the block. So back in 2000, and prior to that, I was a farmer and a rancher in the other side of the state. And when they talked about the gold mine closing down that was in the hills, I wondered what that meant, but didn't really feel it because I wasn't from the community. When they talked about turning this into a laboratory, I thought, isn't that interesting? And then went out to chase cows and didn't think much about it. When I got to the legislature in 2006 was when I heard Governor Rounds tell us that we needed to fund pumping water out of a hole in the ground. And so we had very candid debates about that and what the future held for this facility here and what it potentially could be, and opened my eyes to the possibilities. I grew up with a father that woke us up every day by saying, get up, more people die in bed than anywhere else, which means get to work, we got a lot to do. And his dream, he worked so hard because He told us every day he wanted all 4 of his kids to be able to stay on the operation and farm together if they wanted to. And that's become my dream for South Dakota. And I think this laboratory, this research will make that possible as well. All of our kids can stay in this state if they want to because of opportunities that things like this project will provide. 100 years ago, we mined gold out of this hole in the ground. Well, now we're going to mine knowledge, and knowledge that we didn't even realize the potential of even just a decade ago. So I'm excited about that, and today is a very special day for me. We have an amazing opportunity here. We've made federal investments. There have been personal investments, state investments, partnerships like I haven't seen before, where people have linked arms and had the conversations to get things done to provide that kind of future. And so congratulations. Congratulations not just on the potential for research, what it means for South Dakota and economic benefits, the jobs that it will provide, the opportunities for learning for our elementary children, junior high, high school, and college-age students are things that I'm thrilled we'll be able to provide here. So it's not just one level of research benefits. We're seeing it in multiple layers here in the state of South Dakota, and I'm so appreciative of those who years ago had the vision, cast the vision, so that we could grab a hold of it and today be standing here on such a wonderful day where we see the future laid out ahead of us. I have a wonderful opportunity to introduce a friend of mine, a colleague of mine that was elected to Congress the same year that I was. But when you serve in the House of Representatives and you're from a small state like South Dakota, you don't have anybody else in your delegation. The California representatives walk around and there's 50 some of those, and the Texas delegation all sits in the House in a big group and dozens of them sitting together. When you're from South Dakota, you're kind of it. So you really look for friends. And what I have loved about Randy is his commitment to this project, the fact that we could walk by each other in the hallway and Randy would grab me and say, hey, Christy, that appropriations amendment that we've got, it's drafted, let's go to the floor. And we'd go down there together and talk about making sure that the federal investment was going to be there, make sure we talked to our appropriation colleagues to make sure the funding followed through, that we didn't have to worry about this project not getting the resources that it needed from the federal side because we were doing our jobs. I could not have done my job in making sure that those dollars were there from the House side if Randy hadn't been such a wonderful partner for me. He was willing to not only talk about the benefits in Illinois, he was willing to talk about the benefits that South Dakota was going to be able to get from this project and that kind of vision is one that I appreciate. So please welcome Randy Hultgren, Congressman from Illinois.
Thank you, Christy. This is so cool. You got to say that. We're a mile underground. You think about in your lifetime how blessed you'd be to be at the right place with the right group of people, with the right talent, with the right experience, with the right physical locations, all to come together to be able to do something world-changing. That is what this project is all about. It is the perfect team, the perfect experience, and the perfect locations that couldn't really have been planned other than they work. Where Fermilab is, where Sanford Underground Mines is, the lab is, it is exactly right for this type of experiment. And I'm so convinced with this teamwork that we have the opportunity to see truly world-changing, life-changing discovery out of what is going to happen here and at Fermilab. I do have such a pride of being able to represent Fermilab. Many of you know Fermilab is celebrating its 50th anniversary, 50 years of physics discovery, discovery that literally has led the world year after year after year. And I'm so proud of Fermilab, so proud of Director Nigel Lockyer for literally over a dozen people who are down here a mile underground from Illinois celebrating this important groundbreaking today. Because this is the type of teamwork that we need to see for this to be successful. And Fermilab is the right place to be working with Sanford to be able to make sure that that beam is perfect, that it is right, that the job is going to be able to get done, that we're able to see things that we've never seen before because of all this coming together. So I'm here to say congratulations. We're so proud of the work that has been done, but we're also really excited about the work that is going to be done. And joining with my colleagues, I wish all of our Illinois delegation could be with us today. Unfortunately, they weren't able to, but we are a bipartisan delegation in Illinois that believes so strongly in what is happening at Fermilab and what is happening here at Sanford. And we are committed to do whatever we can to make sure that we support this. And I'll echo what Michael said from the White House as well, that this is unique, and this is really the picture of incredible discovery and experimentation going into the future, where it is local, state, federal, and international collaboration. I'm more convinced than ever, serving on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee out in Washington, D.C., that we're not going to be able to do big projects all by ourselves, that we have to have international collaboration with that. And that's why I'm so excited to introduce our next speaker who's going to be here. And it's someone that I've learned so much about, but want to get over and visit CERN sometime. But CERN really is the model, again, of the world coming together to discover new things. We saw that with the Higgs boson discovery just a couple of years ago. And all of the teamwork, Fermilab was certainly a big part of that as well. But CERN is all in on this project as well. And that's what I get excited about as well. So very excited that the Director of International Relations for CERN, Charlotte Wardakali, is with us, and so I'm going to introduce Charlotte to be our next speaker. Please welcome Charlotte.
Thank you very much, Representative Hultgren. And obviously, if at some point you find yourself out of a job, I think we can hire you to promote CERN, because you've done a brilliant job, better than I could possibly do. It is truly an honor for me to represent CERN on this unique occasion. I share with you the very warm congratulations and greetings of the entire CERN Directorate. We congratulate Fermilab and SURF. We congratulate the US government and the Department of Energy, the state of South Dakota, the people of South Dakota, and of course the entire LBNF DUNE community on taking what is really a remarkable step in the journey of exploration in particle physics. CERN is very proud to be a major partner in this project as part of a broad international collaboration. It is indeed the first time in our 60 years of history that we engage in this way outside of Europe. And it demonstrates the importance and also the strength of the partnership that we enjoy with Fermilab and indeed with the US. This year we also celebrate the 20th anniversary of the US becoming an observer at the CERN Council in recognition of the important contribution of the US to the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, highlighting again the very close and reciprocal relations that we enjoy with the US, and we look forward to their continuation. The international engagement that we've already heard a lot about from the very inspiring speakers before me is, of course, testament to the strength and the ambition of the vision behind the LBNF DUNE and to its scientific and technological potential that will benefit very widely. In this partnership, CERN is now contributing to the construction of the first of 4 cryostats of the DUNE detector and also hosts and supports the construction of 2 large DUNE prototypes. And the technology that is now being refined for those building blocks will be tested and multiplied when the massive DUNE detectors are assembled right here at SURF in due course. The Icarus detector, many of you will have heard, is now, that pioneered the technology here, has just been updated and refurbished at CERN and will be arriving very soon, I think next week, at Fermilab. As we've already heard, large-scale fundamental research projects such as LBNF not only help to expand our shared pool of knowledge, but also very importantly provide great opportunities for the next generation in science, in technology, and in collaboration, and it will inspire them to even greater levels of ambition. And it will be them who will probably answer some of the questions that we're setting out to answer with LBNF, and in the process they will bring great value to society at large and to all of us. And at CERN we appreciate very much being part of this collaboration, helping to push the frontiers of knowledge and technology together for this generation and for many generations to come. So very many congratulations to everybody involved. And it's now my great pleasure to hand over to Professor Sergio Bertolucci of the Italian National Institute for Nuclear Physics, who's a great colleague and has been involved from the beginning.
Well, it moves fast, not as fast as we like, but fast enough. It was not long ago, it was mid-2014, when we started saying that there was the need just to help the community, just to converge on something. And this was helped by many, many things, like the P5, like the European strategy, like the vision of a director of a laboratory, Fermilab, like the help of another director at CERN. And so he went, and he went incredibly fast, because at the beginning of 2015, DUNE was essentially started, LBNF started as a project, and it could not have happened without the effort of so many people. And the nice thing about today is that you see all the people here. You see how this thing works. You have just to put together scientists, people from technology, people from industry, people from administration, from politics, and all they have just to share, in fact, the vision. Because without that, you go nowhere. So I'm particularly proud now, as ex-director of research of CERN, which had something to do with this vision, and now as leading the effort of Italy for forming this neutrino thing, I'm very happy just to see that this thing is proceeding fast, with a pace. In Latin, there is a way when you are starting an ambitious program, you have just to go fast, but you have just to go fast, but not too fast. And the Latin used just to say festina lente, go fast calmly. And essentially is very wise in a sense. In Italy, we understand especially the second part, the calmly, but is another story. But here, I think that we have all what we really need just to have, because from what I heard before from the people talking before that, I understand that we share the vision. And this is the important thing. So we understand how important it is just to have a mentality which is poised just to accept the risk of research, of the discovery, of a thing that has not been attempted before and that we are sure that we'll be doing, but we need just to share this. And then I really want just to thank all the people who had a big effort for doing that and making this day available. Now, there is another part which has just to come after me, because all these funding agencies, they have just to act, so they show that they can keep up the pace. So Graham Blair of TFC will have just to come here and commit.
Thank you, Sachin. Absolutely no pressure there then. So good, thank you. So it's a very great pleasure to be here underground, a mile. First time I've been so deep underground, and one hole from another, someone's just dug for me. I'll try and get out of it later. So, yeah, the UK, DUNE represents a very big opportunity, and we really want to be involved in it. It's a truly international exercise environment, and I think that is very, very important. Already 16 of our universities have expressed interest in that, including our research council, STFC, from which I come. And over 125 scientists are signing up to their interest in this. So we already have a very strong case to make for strong involvement in this program. And indeed, because it has been constructed internationally from the outset, including the co-spokesperson of Mark Thompson from Cambridge, it illustrates how strongly internationalism is from the start in this project, and something that we can all engage with very positively. In that regard, we do have strong support, I believe, from our government. Clearly, we've got lots still to do, but because we can demonstrate the need, the scientific need for working in this area, our scientists are telling us this bottom up. They're not telling us, it's not a top-down driven initiative, this. The experts are telling us we want to be in this and we want to make our discoveries there. And so that gives us the ammunition we need to go out and get the funding. Our collaboration with the US has goes a long way back. We've been involved with the Fermilab program for many, many years. And so our working with the US environment is something that we're very comfortable with and have thrived indeed in that process. Many of our senior figures have built their careers here in the United States. We have ongoing experiments, for instance, in the Lux Zeppelin project, which is somewhere around here. I don't know. That way, somewhere, I don't know. But it's somewhere about this level, and we're very keen on discovering dark matter, not too far from here. We've participated in the Advanced LIGO project, and again, fantastic results coming out of that. And our internationalism, our approach, is also enforced by working not only directly with the US here, but also via CERN through the neutrino platform. And that's something that's yielding great results. I think what's particularly important, in addition to the science benefit that we will gain from all of this, is the fact that we will be sending out our next generation of postdocs and postgraduate students into this fantastic environment. And that will have yield benefits way beyond the pure scientific results themselves in this world of increasing uncertainty and who knows what's coming next. To build our next generation of scientists and great thinkers in such an international environment, building on such a high-level, honorable goal has got to be a good thing. And to bring our international partners from many other countries with us in that is something we should all try to do. But of course, in order to do that, we have to build an 800 kiloton hull. Well, actually, you have to build an 800 kiloton hull. But I will give a symbolic gesture to help you on your way shortly. I look forward to doing that. Thank you very much. And let me now pass over to man making it all happen, Mike.
All right, I really don't have to say too much other than to thank our speakers. I'd like to thank the governor for hosting the event. Very nice location you picked for us to have our party here. I'd like to thank Mike Headley for organizing this whole thing with your team, Mike. It's really worked out well. And I think our day was made when we heard that the White House was going to be represented here. So thank you, Michael, for coming. Thank you for the senators and the whole delegation from it. You can say the entire delegation showed up from South Dakota. Congratulations. And thank you, Randy, for coming all the way from wherever it is you came from, Fermiland. That was great. And a special thanks to our international partners. I think the purpose of that was to give people listening a sense that this really is an international project, and they've demonstrated that. So shout out to the people at Fermilab. Hello. People a mile up who are enjoying themselves. Group 3, I think it is. Yep. So, and now my main job now is to have people get shovels and line up and look like they know what they're doing. But Mike's going to introduce a couple more people.
Okay, as Nigel mentioned, we have a couple of additional people who will be joining us for the groundbreaking. We'll be joined by South Dakota Science and Technology Authority Board Chairperson Casey Peterson, and also Scott Lundgren, who is representing the Kiewit-Alberici joint venture, who has been recently selected as the LBNF construction manager and general contractor. So if you gentlemen would come on up, I'd ask our speakers to stand, and we will provide you with a shovel. We have 14 shovelers. That must set some form of a record.
All right, everybody pick up a shovelful, hold it. 1, 2, 3.
We'd like to thank everyone for participating both here at the Sanford Lab and also around the world over the web. And I think this concludes the live broadcast from the 4850. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for your words.